Well, hello there, friends. My name is Bobbie, and this is Bobbie Reads Tarot. And today, I want to look into the election, the upcoming U.S. election in November 5th. I keep getting in readings that something is going to happen and it's going to be delayed or it's not going to happen. And I'm really curious to know what's going on. Why would the election either not happen or be delayed? Because that's, as far as I'm aware, that has never happened before. If it has happened, it wasn't significant because it isn't something that's called out in history. So I don't think it's anything that's ever happened before. So, this would be a first in what, 300 years? Well, 250 years. So I just want to know what's going on. I've heard some interesting theories. I have been listening to a couple different astrologers. One is a Vedic astrologer. The other one is a tropical astrologer. And then I've also just been doing my own readings and getting my own feelings and, what I can see happening. So I thought, you know what, let's take a little bit of a deep dive into the election to see, we'll shuffle those in a minute, what is going on, okay? So I'm going to move these out of the way, and we are going to start with tarot. And actually, you know what, I already shuffled these, but I want to cut them. I did not cut them. Here we go. Now they're ready. Okay, Six of Pentacles reversed. So this has to do with money, and symbolically, it's an inability to hold on to money, but it could be your money. You can't get to your money. Your money is being pulled away. You don't have access to your money. The hand is upside down, so the money looks like it's falling out of the hand. Okay, the next thing we have is the Page of Wands reversed. Page of Wands reversed is electronic communication issues. There is going to be issues with money due to electronics. Okay. The Magician. So we're going to be coming from this idea that our system and everything in it works. It works like magic. Everything just does what it's supposed to do. And we take that for granted. But sometimes the Magician is purely just smoke and mirrors. And I'm wondering if the system that we have, that we put all of our faith in, I'm wondering if that system is smoke and mirrors. And we're going to see that it actually is not what we give it credit for. We have the moon going forward into the moon. This is secrets. These are things that are unknown. This is changes. This could also be like a crisis time. So we are going from this time of having this magician energy, this like faith and alchemy that just our financial system is always going to work because it's always alchemized money for us. But we're going to find out that that was all smoke and mirrors. And it is not as it appears. And we're going to go into this very dark time, this dark energy, where things might feel a bit uncertain. Ace of Pentacles. This is this wanting to show an appearance of financial success. This is all about money. This is a money card. This is like an offer of money. This is financial success. This is investment. This is new beginnings. So the hope is that as we earn money, right, we want to see that money grow. And we do that a lot of different ways. People invest their money. People put their money in a 401k. People take their money and invest in their own businesses. There's just all different ways that we take our money and we want to see our money grow. That is our hope. That is what everyone wants. They want that ability to make the most of their finances and to make the most of their financial opportunities. What we don't see coming is this Knight of Swords, and this is an aggressive opponent. This is a battle. This is someone coming in with violent intentions. It's a battle. So there's some kind of a battle coming in that we don't see coming. Okay, and then we have the Judgment card in reverse, and this is a misinterpretation, misreckoning. So something unjust is going to happen. There is, and I feel like it's coming quickly. It's coming soon. So today is August 8th. This is actually the Lion's Portal, if you know anything about that. I wasn't purposely filming this on today, but yeah, so I'm filming this on August 8th. I feel like this is going to be soon. I feel like this is, if this hasn't already begun, we're going to see it in full effect, I think, before or by the time of the election. This is part of, because we're looking at what is going to prevent the election from happening. It's something to do with the financial sector, which I've been saying in other videos. Okay. So we're being made to feel like we have a lot of options right now around us. But it's causing a lot of chaos and confusion. There's so many things coming at us, so many different kinds of messages and images. We have this election going on where the two different candidates are saying two things that are completely opposite. And so we're being forced to look at that and decipher what we're going to believe and what we're not going to believe. We are being shoved all of this information during the news cycle every day, and people are feeling incredibly overwhelmed and confused. They're feeling distracted. It's really beginning to feel like this Hierophant energy. What we're hoping for is we're hoping that there's going to be someone who has morals and values and ethics, and they are going to be the one to prevent something catastrophic from happening. We all want to believe that that there are people that are inherently good, that are there to save us in case of emergency. That's what we're hoping for. But I hate to tell you, those people aren't there. That doesn't exist. And then we have the Ace of Swords. This is conquest. So this is like being cut. It's what is meant to happen and what is being perhaps orchestrated to happen is going to happen no matter what. Like, this is the decision. Here it is. Ace of Swords. They win. Okay. So let's get some additional cards to see what other, who the theys, what's the, all of the good stuff. Okay, so I have already shuffled all of these cards. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this first chunk of the deck. Let's see, I'm going to go this way. Okay. So I want 3 cards. And this is the energy behind who or what is facilitating this issue with the money system. Okay, so we have water, we have accident, and we have optical illusion. Okay. I want to get 3 more cards to clarify. So this is who or what is causing this issue. Water. I'm wondering if, because we're seeing a lot of floods, we're seeing things happening in the Gulf Coast with Hurricane Debbie. We also, there was an earthquake off the coast of Japan just, I believe, yesterday, a 7.5 earthquake, I believe, and there have been tsunami warnings now, and they also believe that there will be continued earthquake seismic activity in that area that could potentially lead to more issues with water and flooding. And I feel like there's going to be This is going to be tied to perhaps some natural disasters that are happening. So, for instance, we could have a really bad, let's say, hurricane during that time that creates flooding, or let's say there's a dam that breaks somewhere that causes an issue at the same time that something also happens with, let's say, the financial markets, and then something also happens with, let's say, a domestic attack. I'm feeling like it's going to be just one component of the timing, but I do think there's going to be something going on with water, and I do feel like it's going to be flooding, people losing their lives in the water. Okay, premeditated burial cult. So looking at this, I do feel that this situation is a premeditated situation. And it's a situation that it's meant to look different than it actually is. So it's meant to look like it's something that's safe. It's something that always works. It's this magic that's just always there and happening. And so people want to believe that. They just kind of go into it. It's this group think that everything's fine. But then something happens that's going to trigger this, I guess, series of events that are going to then expose that this wasn't what it appeared to be. And not only are we going to see that this isn't what it appeared to be, but we're going to eventually discover that the accident that, takes this down wasn't an accident. It was something that was premeditated. I also do feel as if there's going to be we're going to have a big loss of life with whatever this situation is. I do feel like it's going to come with a large loss of life. I want to know more about the group. That's what I would like to get clarification on, is who is the group? Okay, so we have thief, we have change of plans, and we have truth. I want 3 more cards. We have accomplice partner, we have assassination, murder for hire, and we have disposing of evidence. So I do feel like a lot of these things are tied together. I feel like the recent assassination attempt on Trump was also somehow tied into this plan. However, I don't think that they expected him to survive that. And so it forced this change of plans. They're having to change the way that they were somehow going to do this. People are working together to make this happen. And the people we see, like in this picture, they are in business suits. They're shaking hands. It's like a business still. This very much feels to me like it is either government officials that are partnering together to create this situation or event, or this could be people very high in business. This could also be, the wealthy, the elite, the people that we would attribute to being part of special groups or societies. You know what I'm talking about. So I think that there's these partnerships and these different types of arenas where they're, business, government, and the wealthy. And I feel like that they're all kind of have a shared interest in this, whatever's going to happen. Some people have talked about perhaps a changeover in the way that we do our banking or our banking system, or this would be like a shift to a world bank, which is actually kind of scary. As you guys may or may not know, I'm actually Buddhist, but I was raised Catholic, but I study religion as like a passion. So I read every type of religious text, from the Sumerian text all the way to the Quran to the Nag Hammadi. I mean, I cover the gambit, and I have a thirst for religious knowledge. So where I'm going with that is, if you've read the Bible, when we look at the book of Revelations, there's this story, or it talks about a one world government and a one world bank, or one world financial system. And that correlates with the end times in the book of Revelations. So it's very interesting if this actually pans out to be true. Then it's a little bit scary. We are looking at a little bit of a prophecy, which is like, ooh, I don't know how I feel about that. There's always going to be this disposing of evidence. They're always going to hide what they're doing. They're always going to, bury what they're doing, and they're stealing from the American people. These are corrupt people who don't care, and they're going to use the situation to basically bankrupt America and do some really really insane stuff, like change the way that we have our financial system, wipe out pretty much the value of the American dollar, and therefore wipe out all of the money that people would have. 401ks, bank accounts, everything would be wiped out. So it would be like this complete reset. So everything that we've worked for would be gone. And that's really, frightening to think about. And that money would go to benefit, it would be basically confiscated at the resources, and it would be retained by the government. And they would have all of our, they would essentially have like a lot of our wealth. So, I'm not saying that is happening, but if it did happen, riots and protests, that would be really diabolical. Excuse the barking dogs, you guys. They're, you know how it is. It's that time of day. They're going crazy. Okay, so let's get some additional cards to kind of see what's going on. I feel like we've built out who it is. So now I would just like to kind of get basically like any information that would help us just kind of, see what's going on, things to watch out for. Okay, so we have manipulation, always, of course. Trauma. I do think that whatever happens, it's going to be really rough. I don't think that this is potentially going to be like, the end of the end times, but I do feel like it's going to be very painful for people. And like I've been saying forever now, be sure that you have stocked up on supplies, things that you might need. I'm not talking about like doomsday prepping, but I am talking about making sure that you are taken care of in case of an emergency. And this is any emergency, okay? So not just like people rioting and the financial system crashing, but I mean like with all this weird weather stuff we've had, I'm talking about a tornado, a hurricane, a tsunami, an earthquake, and a forest fire. Anything can happen at any time. And so we should always have some type of preparations, because we've seen historically that when people get into a jam, it takes time for help to come in. So if we can help ourselves by being, as prepared as possible, we're doing ourselves a huge service. So I would encourage you again, one more time in this video, to, just make sure that you've got some extra water stored up just in case. Make sure that you have, a little bit of extra, if you take prescriptions, a little bit extra on hand in case you need it. Solar flares. Oh my God, you guys, okay, fact check this, okay? Because I have not fact checked this. This is something I heard in a video and I'm repeating it. But again, this has not been fact checked. So don't run with this. But I did hear that on August 6th, there were 2 weird solar flare events that were witnessed from the sun. And there is this talk from the science community that we are seeing an uptick in solar flare activity. This is why we need to be prepared, because if there is a solar flare and something happens where things are knocked out, you need to be prepared, like having a generator on hand to run emergency things, like, if you need to run your refrigerator, or if you need to run air conditioning or emergency, radio, whatever, because we don't know whenever weird stuff like this is going to happen. So be prepared, man. I live in Arizona, you guys. If there's a solar flare, I'm going to be baked. false accusations. So during this time, we're going to see finger pointing. Oh, see, this guy is literally pointing his finger. Do you see that? So we're going to start seeing like finger pointing, and these people are going to be accusing other people, whoever we see as the blame being pointed at. So let's say the first story that comes out is the blame is being pointed at like the government. Okay, then it's probably not the government. It's probably like the people behind the government. Or if they come out and they say like, oh, it was this group of people, it's probably not. They're whoever is responsible is going to deflect it to other people or other organizations or other parties to be responsible. So understand that when you're watching or hearing news, whoever is saying it is, really look into that and really do your research and dig before you actually believe it. Because I believe that the first story that's going to come out is going to be the false story. Then we're going to find out the true story after. You guys, premeditated. Literally the second time we have premeditated. This is a pre-planned event. So because they are pre-planning it, we need to pre-plan ourselves to be protected. Okay, what else can we get for this event? Okay, we have loyal and we have SEX. I wonder what that's about. I'll put that over there and see if anything else comes out that like makes that make sense. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the Whispers of the Unsolved and just see what other cards we get that pop out. Okay, that was way too many. Okay, we have flight, air travel, political, cover-up, friend, delays, okay, so it's so funny because we keep getting a lot of these same cards for these same types of things. So we have vacation, beach, abroad, flight travel. So when this happens, or perhaps even right before this happens, I feel like a lot of the politicians or people who know that this is going to go down are going to leave. It's not gonna be like a major, like, you know, a mass exodus. It's gonna be like they're all kind of headed on vacation at the same time. I feel like it's gonna be that. I do think that whoever is doing it or whatever has happened, I do feel like the truth will come out because we have truth and we have caught. But I do think it's going to be very delayed. And I think it's going to be delayed because there's going to be a cover-up. So they're going to have to sift through all of the disinformation to actually get to the truth in order to deal with this situation. These people are all friends. They're all together. And they're people that we would never expect. They're different groups of people in different ways. They're connected in different ways. They are loyal to one another, but they are engaged in things. They have information on each other that keeps them all in line and keeps them all loyal. Okay? So these are the types of people that are doing this. Okay, they're the ones that are behind it. That's what we were asking. Who is behind it? That is who is behind it. Yeah. Okay, let's just get a few more cards here. I think we're getting pretty close to the end of this, but we'll just see if any other cards want to pop out to get any additional clarity. Hired. Resume. I'm wondering if this is talking about that whoever was needed to do the work to set this up has begun the task. That person has been put in place and they are already beginning the whatever this is. Whatever this is that's going to either prevent the election altogether or delay the election. I'm wondering what's going to go on with the government. Okay, so let's see if we can I want to get information on, so this happens, it prevents the election, so then what happens with our government or the election? Can we get some info on that? Okay, let's put some extra cards in here and see if we can get any to pop out now. Strategy, riot, okay. So we have gift package, social media, crossroad, strategy, riot. Okay, so they're going to be at a crossroads with what to do. But I think that their strategy is going to be shattered. I think they think they have a strategy, but I think something's going to come in and it's going to actually shatter that strategy. And I think that they're going to see, there's going to be something with riots that prevent whatever was supposed to happen from happening. Okay, we have social media and we have gift. Social media, gift. So social media is somehow going to play a part in this gift package. I'm wondering if people are going to get information that feels like a gift that is delivered through social media. Contract, paperwork. There's going to be some type of contract that's going to be enacted to take care of whatever the leadership situation is during this time while there's the delay in the election. We have success. We have power supply. So the people who are in power, the people that are essentially pulling the strings at the very top echelon, they are going to basically determine what's going to happen. And I think they have an idea. I believe they have agreements, they have contracts with the different people that are involved, but I do think it's going to be kind of a flexing, fluid situation. So I think it's really going to depend on how the public reacts, the social media. How are people going to view this? Because if they view it and people fall in line and they're favorable to Kamala, then they will perhaps put her in power. I felt like she's going to be replacing Biden before the end of his term. I feel like something might happen where she actually has to step in. So I do feel like she will be the president before this happens. So if things are going well, they may keep her. If the people riot and there's a coup or something and they want her ousted, then they may push some kind of a fake election or some kind of weird election where they put Trump in power, or perhaps they install, depending on the reaction of the people, some type of, military government, or who knows. We've never seen anything like this in the history of the US. So we're going to start to see some things happen here that we've seen happen in other countries, and we've looked at it and we've thought that could never happen in the US. We are going to see it happen now. So a military coup, which I'm sure all of us were like, that could never happen. It could happen. It could happen. And I think also a lot of it, the decision that's going to be made with how the government continues, the continuity, I think a lot of it's going to have deal with how the MAGA crowd reacts as well. Because if they, riot and, they could initiate some kind of a crazy, war. I mean, anyone could. I shouldn't just say the MAGA crowd, but, let's be honest, it probably would be the MAGA crowd. Follow the money. This is who is in charge. This is who is pulling the strings. Follow the money. They're gonna take the money. That is the entire thing. That's the whole reason for this, is to consume all of the resources. It's how they make their big power grab. You know, they're trying to hide what they're doing. We see these meetings like the Bilderberg Group or Bohemian Grove. Go Google them if you're not familiar. But there are these ceremonies that take place with these people where they meet and they have just insane ceremonies, and the people who attend are typically the people then who become the nominees for each party. So the people who attend, it's like the Bilderberg Group, right? A group will attend, and 1 year they had people that were all from the financial sector that came, and then immediately following that, like a few months later, is when we saw the financial crash of 2008. So these things are all pre-orchestrated, and they happen at these different meetings. So the meetings happen in plain sight. Everybody knows about the Bilderberg Group, but everyone also knows that what is discussed there is not made public. Why is it not made public? Why are these things being concealed, especially when the vast majority of the people who are attending these meetings or part of these groups are our political leaders, our financial leaders, and our industry leaders? It doesn't make a lot of sense. So anyway, I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, if you have not already subscribed, please be sure to hit the little subscribe button. And finally, if you have any questions about what decks I'm using, or if you're interested in a private reading, all of that information you can find on my website, which is in the description box down below. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!